Critter Trades here. Welcome to the Road Rules and Reacts series, and we're going to take a look at some dash cam videos. We're going to react to them, and we're also going to look at who's at fault, who insurance would deem at fault, and my kind of personal opinion on who I think did a better job at defensive driving, those sorts of things. So let's take a look here at our first one, and we have, all right, so it looks like we have a wintry, almost mountain road here. Oh, so I was not expecting this. I thought since the roads were clear, typically if you get some good salt on the roads like they are like this, it usually means that they're pretty salted. They're not going to be icy, but this definitely has some intense ice here. And that was really close with that car with the trailer. That would have been really bad. Let's back this up here one more time and watch this. Man, it almost looks like he was kind of overcorrecting it at first here. I don't know if he was like a little bit scared of this truck, and he kind of went out away from the turn right here. See how he kind of goes off to the right side of the lane, it cuts in, and maybe that cut in was just a little too much to get the tail end a little bit loose. Ooh. Yeah, that's a pretty big wreck. Good thing he didn't hit anything hard. It looks like he just hit a snowbank here. Yeah, we know whose fault this one is. It's definitely on the camera. They're not in control of their vehicle. Let's watch that one more time here from the beginning. Yeah, it just looks wet. That's why in the winter especially, it's really hard to tell if the roads are icy or wet. And this is the very definition of black ice where you can't tell that it's there, and that's why it is such a big problem. And that's why snow tires are really important too. Yeah, he's just going too fast, I think, on possibly icy roads will definitely do it. Man, yeah, it's unfortunate. And all right, here we got our last one, and I can already tell this light's going to turn red before they even go through it. It's just that it's been green, yellow way too long. Unless it's one of those lights, there's a few lights that, in my town anyways, that have a little bit longer yellow light than others. And sometimes they like to change the length of the yellow depending on the speed of the road. So the faster road will have a longer yellow just because the cars are moving much faster to allow the light to turn green later for the cars on the side roads, so you don't have as many collisions. But it looks like the semi truck is already starting to move in, so I will say the camera definitely redeemed themselves with a late evasive maneuver. Luckily this second lane was open, because if that lane was not open, this was going to be a big problem for somebody, most likely the camera. Let's go back one more time, watch that full speed, because this happens really quick. See, the light just barely at the beginning here turns yellow when they're really far out. And actually you can see the speed here. It says 60 miles an hour, 63 miles an hour on the GPS from the dash cam. That's why dash cams are so important as well. They mark your speed. That semi almost actually, look how close this is with the semi truck and the car in the second lane here. Right there. There's only like a foot. The semi goes wide, real wide here. That semi almost hit them too. I'm curious if, I don't know, man. If this would have been a collision, I think most of the fault would have been on the camera. But I think the semi truck may receive, I don't know. That's a really tough one, because technically, the camera definitely ran a red light. The semi truck didn't make sure the lane was clear though before he went out. So I bet, I blame the camera for sure. I bet if there was an accident, insurance would have put a little bit of blame on the semi-truck driver though as well. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. All right, so here we have another dry road situation, and we'll see who's at fault here. We got a green light with a big truck. It's always interesting trying to guess what is going to happen, because there's so many different variables. Somebody might come from the back, from the side here, and it's hard to tell what is actually going to happen. Now we have a truck in the left turn lane as well. Looks like they got their hazards on here. If you notice here, the last second, This truck has the reverse lights on and is backing up. Let's back this up just a smidgy here. Now, it's really hard to tell, though, because it's daylight and these lights aren't super bright. I'm sure in person it might have been a little bit better, but let's take a look. Here you can't really tell until you start to get a little bit closer. Like right here, I think, is when they actually start backing up. And I think we all know what's going to happen here. And yep, definitely. Ooh, a little crunch. Look at that. A little crunchy Captain Crunch there for you. Watch it one more time. Ooh. That was not fun. And they don't even stop. They keep going. Oh, no. No, let me go. Let me go. Oh, jeez. I'm curious here. What? I'm wondering if it kind of looks like they must have overshot their turn. I wonder if they were planning to turn here and they stopped a little bit too far forward and so they needed to back up. But let's see where they were back at the beginning of the video when we get here. So yeah, if they're trying to get to this turn in, that's definitely not where they want to be. In terms of fault, the camera definitely could have done a little bit better recognizing that they had their hazards and were backing up. I would put 100% of the fault on the semi truck here in this scenario. I just don't see a situation where it's not their fault for backing up into this car. The camera was doing nothing wrong, and they just, I don't know, they're in the bad spot at the bad time apparently. But like, you got to look behind you and make sure no one's behind you before you back up, especially if you're driving a semi truck. Let's see if there's anything else that happens after this. I think the camera just kind of wanted to get their attention to make sure they knew that they hit them so they didn't just drive off. But yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, here's our next video. We have, it looks like some dry roads, fortunately. So I see this. Oh, let's back this up really quick here. So I think what happened here is this SUV got rear-ended maybe, and it looks like they stopped, and that black car, yeah, it looks like that black car bumps in the back of this white SUV just barely here at the last second. You can barely see it right there. You can see just in the corner here, they bump into the back of them. So let's take this back a little bit further and we can kind of look at who's at fault. Now, I'm assuming the camera definitely is not at fault here. They have a green light. They're staying in their lane. They're not doing anything crazy here. I'm guessing what happened here is the black car thought that this car was gonna go, and they were watching the camera, and by the time they looked up in front of them, it was too late for the accident to already happen. I think they thought this white car had left the intersection already. And here you can see it looks like they have a yield sign. So I think the black car assumed they weren't going to stop and they were just going to keep going through the intersection because they did have a lot of speed coming into the intersection. But they did, in fact, decide to stop, and the black car needs to be aware of what's going on. Let's watch this at full speed one more time here. Yeah, the black car definitely was not looking in front of them and bumped, unfortunately, into that car in front of them there. Yeah, definitely 100% fault goes on the black car